sugar molecules. So as minute as that might sound, and insignificant as it might sound, what it does is that builds up on everything, as heart, as liver, as lungs, kidneys, brain, everything. So I mean, it starts shutting down the whole body quickly. Without any treatment, it wouldn't have lived to be 5. There's different levels to this disease. He has one of the more severe levels of the disease. And he had a stem cell transplant, which is also a bone marrow transplant. At 18 months old, he started going there. They had the same treatments. He had to go through the chemo and radiation, shut his body down, put it in the bone marrow, and hope that took. And we were very blessed and fortunate that happened on the first take, because it doesn't happen most of the time. He didn't have graft versus host disease afterwards, which is when the body rejects it. His body accepted it. He was in the ICU at St. Jude. All this took place there, inpatient, and he was in the hospital for almost 2 months, and he was almost a month in the ICU. He was on dialysis, he was on life support, he was on the ventilator, they had an IV everywhere in a vein that you could put in his body. He had almost 18 IVs at one time, one in all over his body. We had pictures of it. I wish I would have thought to bring all the pictures and stuff. We took pictures of all the stuff that he went through along his journey. He's had several things done. At 4 years old, he had carpal tunnel syndrome, and he had scars on his wrist right here where he had carpal tunnel surgery on his wrist at 4 years old. And this is all parts of his disease. It's just things that are still going to happen. He had back surgery when he was 8 years old. They went and broke his back, and they put a rod and 5 screws on one side, and they fused the spine together on the other. So he has scars all on his side and across his back and stuff from that when he was 8. And he has a back brace that he still has to wear. And we just recently found out he'll have to have hip replacements, and he'll have to have neck surgery, because in C1 and 2 up here, he has narrowing of the spine, which is going to press on the spinal cord. So he'll have to have that done as well. And he has to have heart valve replacement. So he goes to St. Jude for 1 week out of the month. His month is June. And they go up there for a solid week. They test everything that you can test on this child. Everything. I can't even begin to tell you the list. He goes all day long, 8 hours a day. And they do blood tests. They do all kinds of scans, bone scans, brain, everything that you can test, I'm telling you. And so the things like this I want to give you an example of so you can see in this patient's life what they've done, the things that he's gone through that St. Jude is taking care of completely. I have a good job with great benefits, and what St. Jude does in my situation is that they'll use my benefits, and my insurance pays 80% of everything. Well, St. Jude takes care of that other 20%. But they don't distinguish between the two, because if I came in with no job and no insurance, that child would still get the same care that he's got. He would still get the same love and attention that he's been shown throughout almost 9 years of his life. We're just very blessed to have that hospital around here. And before Caleb was diagnosed, honestly, I just didn't know anything at all about St. Jude. And now, since we've been there, we've had our eyes open up to what kind of a place it is, and the treatment that they give you is just unbelievable. Now we go out and we do fundraisers every year. My wife and I do the St. Jude Marathon. Last year we raised almost $15,000 for our teams. And this year, our team, we had 15 people on our team last year. We've got it up to 90 people this year. So we've really pushed it hard, trying to get more and more people to come in. And so we can get, our goal is that we can get those 90 people to each raise $500 a person at minimum. It's going to be a lot of money raised right there for them. So we try to go out there and responsibility lifted off of us. But when you go into that place